الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وبعد. I spoke before and wrote about the disaster has been hitting the Muslim Ummah called Uyghur in northwestern China. And I am not sure why Muslim media, Muslim Shaykh, scholars, and I do mean scholars, the popular ones, especially in the West, why don't they talk about this really disastrous situation the Muslims in China are facing? We don't need to convince anyone about the brutality of the communists from the beginning. They are communist, they are brutal, they don't act like human beings, they don't treat human beings like human beings. We did have the Soviet Union before collapsed. We still have China. China is a different situation because every other nation on the face of the earth is lining up to buy cheap stuff from China. They made China close to being a superpower. Of course, if you are counting the nuclear weapons, they have less than 5% of what America and Russia have. Otherwise, it's really disastrous for Muslims. They're lining up to buy from this communist regime that is not merciful with their own people to begin with. You know, they have millions of cameras watching everybody and everything in China. These people are crazy. It's not about being control freaks. They're crazy. They're crazy, really. Millions of cameras. And they abandoned completely the communist economy, but kept the brutality of the regime. And like I said, their own people are suffering, and I mean the Chinese, let alone the other nations that live within the borders of China. So these people are really brutal. What are they trying to do with the Uyghur Muslims? They want to erase Islam from their hearts. Jail, torture, rape, concentration camps, anything they can do to these Muslims, they're doing. It is really sad to see not a Muslim nation, not one, strongly coming against China for what they're doing against Muslims. It's not a large nation that they are targeting. They are targeting Islam. So if you think we can buy all that cheap stuff from China, we don't have to pay more to buy better stuff from somewhere else and all that stuff, remember, you're Muslims and they have extreme hatred towards Muslims. So today you may be safe. What about tomorrow? What about the day after? Next year, 10 years from now? These people will not stop going after Muslims as much as they can. The Muslim nations What's going on? These are your brothers and sisters. Their only crime is that they're Muslims, and it isn't a crime. Communism is a crime against humanity. Communism. Those leaders of communist China live in such luxury and have so much power that it's unbelievable that they could amass all this and still talk about communism, even though the economy that is used to be communist is dead, it's gone. So they're allowing people to make money. Simply, they even have billionaires. That wouldn't have happened in any communist country, because communist countries, they have always been failures at the economy. And the Chinese Communist Party thought, we're not going to do that. We'll keep control, complete control, but we want money. They worship money. What about the Muslim nations? What are you waiting for? Every Muslim nation should condemn China publicly and try to buy things somewhere else. I know Western, Europe, America, other countries, Indians, Hindus, they're attacking Muslims. They're doing all kinds of Muslim, they're doing they're doing all kinds of crimes, committing all kinds of crimes against Muslims. I know, but this is a current situation. In addition to who's talking about them, who's mentioning their case, who's mentioning their suffering, who maybe a little announcement here and there that the Chinese are doing this to the Muslims, but then they go on, they keep relations with this vicious country, and they keep relations with this vicious country closely. It's all about money. I guarantee you it's not for the sake of Allah. There is no way that any Muslim country would have relations with China, normal relations, for the sake of Allah. Can't. First of all, these are, we don't know. I mean, they say they're communists, but they're Buddhists. And Buddhism, in reality, is not a religion. There is nothing there. There is no Buddha in the Quran. That religion is really, it amounts to nothing. And I have written about Buddhism. So you don't know really if they're communist or if they're Buddhist, but we know for sure it's money. And because they're control freaks to the extreme, crazy about it, who knows, maybe the virus did not start in China, maybe it did. But because these people are crazy, they will not let any information come out of that country. The whole world suspects China of being the source of the COVID. Their own people are suffering greatly because they have no rights of any kind. And so it is just like a crazy combination of communism, but not really communism. Who knows, it's Buddhism or not Buddhism. But the combination is really stuck at the doorstep of money. That's what they're living for. That's what they worship. Just because they worship money, we don't have to do the same. Muslim countries, leaders and nations, I advise you, for the sake of Allah, for the sake of your akhirah with Allah, to condemn China, cut relations with China. You can buy all kinds of things from other countries. In the early 1980s, I was, even before that, when China started making things, and I was still in Kuwait, so people would go buy the, toys for Eid because they're cheap. Because they're cheap. We used to call them a 1 hour toy, because within the hour it breaks. Let alone all the danger, we don't know what they're using in making those toys, whatever. After all these years, China still, how can I say, it's backward if you compare them to Western Europe, Japan, and America. They're still backward. They make a lot of things, yeah, but many of those things they're making, yes, they are good quality. Many of them are not. So we can buy from other countries, especially countries that haven't oppressed Muslims lately, such as Japan, even Korea, South Korea. You can buy from them. You don't need China. What's going on? What's going on? Don't you see? Don't you know? Don't you witness, at least from the media, what's happening to the Muslims there? All this torture and rape and killing. Allahu Akbar. What happened to Muslims these days? What happened to Muslims? You can at least say something. Say something. For Allah's sake, say something. Don't do like that country that kept talking about Islamism. So they did condemn China for what they're doing to Muslims. They went back and had full relations with them. Money. It's money. It's all about money. It's not for the sake of Allah. It can't be for the sake of Allah. If you are seeing and witnessing, and if you know there is great suffering by the Muslim and Muslimah of China. Now the Uyghur, that's how you pronounce it, Uyghur. Tomorrow is going to be the other Muslim nations in China. So I ask you, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to step up, stand up for your religion, stand up for your brothers and sisters. Haram what they're doing. Haram if we are silent about what they're doing. Haram if we don't care about what they're doing. All what we care about, just buy things from them. I know many Muslim countries, most Muslim countries, they don't produce a lot of the things they want to buy. But there are a lot of other nations you can buy from. Like I said, nations that are not currently oppressing Muslims. You see the word here, currently? It's a key word. At least you can do that, and you can say to China, stop it. There is a good chance, and Allah knows best, the Chinese will, not be as vicious as they are now if they think that many Muslim nations is not going to send them money for the cheap stuff they produce. Because they worship money. They worship money. It's about money. Absolutely, it's about money. 40 years ago, I was visiting Malaysia, and there are about 1/4 to 1/3 of the Malaysian nation is Chinese. And I used to go to store after store after store and just, asking them, not in a way of joking, you're Buddhist, you have a Buddhist temple here, you're Buddhist. I'm not Buddhist. What do you worship? Money. Wallah, they told me, several of them. China is doing the same creed, that those Buddhists have? Money. There is no akhirah. There is no ilah. There is no Buddha in the Quran. It's all about money. So tell them, we're not sending money your way. And all these African nations, Asian nations, Arab nations, all these Muslim nations, we're not buying anything from you. They might come and to a meeting, the Communist Party. Listen, people, we're not communist. We're not Buddhist. We're money. Less money is not good, because we will have less control over less money. So let's do something to appease the Muslims, at least. Whenever I see any news about the Uyghurs, it's really sad. BBC, CNN, public news in America, I haven't seen any Muslim TV station, for example, that talks at length about what's happening to those Muslims. Maybe they just mention something and then there are other news, So the kuffar are stepping in. The kuffar are condemning China. The kuffar are trying to do something about it. And the Muslims are just running after China so they can buy cheap stuff from China. I keep repeating the same thing, because cheap stuff. I do not buy anything from China, to tell you the truth. I don't. Because I don't think the quality is good. And now I wouldn't buy anything from them because of them being communists, also because of what they're doing to Muslims. So please, Muslims, wake up. Wake up. Who do you want to support you? Who? Allah? Then you have to stand for your religion and support your Muslim brothers and sisters in China. Strongly, from your heart, really. You don't need Allah's support, then you're next. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.